So when you get to a point where you can start celebrating all the wins you have in life, you start feeling like a winner. And when you start feeling like a winner, you start attracting winning things. It's a winning season for you because now you're like, you know what? I'm a winner. But the moment you shift that and you say, I can't believe I failed at this, I'm miserable at this, I suck at this, then you start feeling like I'm a loser. Right. I'm a failure. And when you have thoughts and stories that you continue to replay in your mind that make you feel like you're failing, at some point you define yourself as a failure. Mm-hmm. And no one wants to continue to play a game when they feel like, why? Because I never win. So they walk off the field, become a spectator in the very game they could be winning at.
Wow. And have a lot of talent.
They could have made it big, but they stepped off the field because they only looked at the things that they define as a failure. And it wasn't even true failure. Yeah. It was not a destination. You know what I mean? It was just a pit stop. It was just a yield sign. And so many of us are at that place. It is a yield. It's not a stop sign.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
What's up, Self-Talk Experience audience? We're back.
We are here.
Yes, we're excited about this episode of the Self-Talk Experience.
We're always excited, actually, babe.
We actually are.
We are.
Yeah, we are. I am excited every single time we press record on the camera to release another episode, to record, then release another episode of the Self-Talk Experience. And this episode, I'm excited about because we've been traveling on tour.
Yes, we have been on tour.
Yes, it is a tour.
And I haven't gotten kicked off the tour yet.
She has not been kicked off the tour this time.
We've been having fun.
We have. So we have a 15-week or so tour. And, we've made it through, 6-7 stops and excited about the stops that we still have to go and bless those marketplaces with insights and wisdom based on the mistakes that we've made and the things that we've done successfully.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've learned while we have been in the mastermind sessions, because when we go to these different cities, there's one event that you have to qualify to attend. So you have to be eligible to attend this particular group. So not anybody, it's not an open invitation that anybody can come.
Right.
And that's more of an intimate setting. So maybe like 25 or so people there.
Yes.
And in that setting, I really enjoy because there's some Q&A, some question and answers that happen there. And so instead of me just sharing my thoughts and, my canned talk on what I feel like I should impart on that market, I get to hear from individuals on what they feel are holding them back from their next level.
I love it too, because you don't know what the questions are going to be.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to watch you answer the questions.
Yeah, I feel like I'm operating in my gift, and I feel like it's sharpening my axe and helping me to really become a better leader.
And what I love about you, if you ever get a question that you don't know the answer to, you're okay with saying, I'm not sure.
Yep.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
You don't try to make it up or talk through it. You just say, I'm so sorry, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think.
And you smile when you say it because you really don't.
I'm being honest, and I think, you have your word
Yeah.
in this world.
Yes.
I mean, you lose your word, you lose a lot. It's you know what I mean? Your reputation goes along with that. And people are like, well, listen, I hear him, but, he said this and it wasn't accurate. He said this and he didn't even believe it. He says this and he doesn't walk that walk.
Well, then the trust goes away. Then.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for noticing that, because I am quick to say, hey, not sure about that one.
Right.
But people typically ask me things that they know I have some experience in and some skills that I've developed. And I bring that up because one of the questions that came up, I thought, man, this would be a great episode for us on the Self-Talk Experience.
Which one?
The question was, I feel like I've been failing for so long that I'm not sure if I can, with honesty and with integrity, inspire others to see a brighter future for themselves when I've not seen that bright future for myself after 16 years.
Wow.
And he's like, I keep saying this is going to be my year, the next year is going to be my year, and I feel like a failure. But yet I'm telling people you can win. I'm telling people this can be your year, but yet that's never happened for me. In so many words, I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Right. So does it seem to them like this, maybe the imposter syndrome?
Yeah. I think he even said that he felt that way.
Okay.
And typically, and I know this because I've lived this, but not only that, I work with a lot of people who have experienced what they coined or defined as failure. And they either haven't had success in a while, like this gentleman, or what he defined as success,
right?
Or they had success and lost it, and that does something to your esteem.
Yeah.
Or you just on a roller coaster. It's like this month is okay. The next month, oh my gosh, what's going on? And the next month, it feels like you're getting it back. And the next month, it's that emotional roller coaster. So I watch people go through it all.
Yeah.
And I've gone through it. And typically, you lose your self-esteem based on frequent failures or things that we deem are have defined as failures. So that means that I haven't had success, and it's like failure after failure after failure. And it could be in a relationship. Man, this relationship didn't work, And so by the time you have your 7th relationship, you're already putting on that 7th relationship what didn't happen in the past 6. You're like, this one probably is not going to work. And so your esteem is low. Going into it, you devalue what you bring to the relationship based on frequent failures. The other thing that happens that causes us to lose some of our self-esteem, is because there's been a long time since we've had anything that we've defined as success. So either frequent failures, so it's like not having success in a relationship, in finances, whatever it is,
right.
Or it's been a long time. It's been so long since I've had a healthy relationship. I feel like, I guess I'm just meant not to ever find my soulmate. I'm meant not to ever have a healthy relationship. I'm meant not to ever be successful, not to live in a home, not to take those type of vacations because it's been so long. Right.
So, well, I'm thinking too, babe, the caveat to that is taking responsibility and accountability for why you're there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we play the victim and it's a pity party. But are we really doing what we're supposed to do or what we said we're doing to get where we want to be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
And that's why, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking like even about like a relationship.
Yeah.
Relationship fail. Now you're at a place where just forget it.
Yeah.
Right? But you're in a rut, but you have to still do something to get out of it.
Yeah.
So that's, how do you make your self-talk such that it helps you to get to a better place?
Yeah, no, so there's a couple of things. That's great.
Focus on the wins and not, harboring on the losses.
Yeah, so this is why this particular podcast, in my opinion, I'm a little biased, is so important. I mean, there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there.
Yes.
That are going to teach you things you need to know in order to be successful in that space. Whatever it is. And we've even had guests on to talk about some of those things because we realize you're going to need a vehicle to succeed in. It may not be the vehicle we chose.
Right.
Like Legal Shield, right? That's been very successful for us.
Right.
But then we have people with Airbnb and Turo and all types of vehicles you can use to succeed. All types, right? And so you can listen to podcasts now. There's information out there that teaches you how to succeed in these different vehicles. However, the vehicle alone will not allow you to be successful. The information, the education alone, people are like, knowledge is power. Not necessarily, because you can have access to the knowledge and never apply it or apply it as the wrong person. So that means you apply the knowledge, but you're unethical. You're compromising, right? You're manipulative.
Right.
So you apply the information, but the success is fleeting because we have cheated people along the way.
But that's when you have to be honest with yourself.
That's my point.
Right?
I'm bringing it back to you, right? Because yes, the relationship may not have worked, but we have to ask ourselves, did we go into every relationship as the same person, or did we become better for the next relationship?
Right.
Right. So am I the same person that keeps accepting the same things, that I've not raised my standards, I've not communicated differently? Maybe it's on me.
Yeah.
And not the other person. But and that's what you're saying. Are we taking responsibility? Are we paying more attention to the result and not the person I need to become? That's why the self-talk experience is so important, because listen, sometimes we have to have that time with ourselves and take full responsibility and say the right things to ourselves about ourselves so that we can come out of the place that we once were in.
Right.
But you can't do that if we're lying to ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're not taking that responsibility, we continue to tell ourselves, I don't understand what's wrong with me. I keep bringing this to the table. I keep bringing, but then the truth is, you know what? I'm not. The truth is I'm giving people a second date that didn't really deserve the first date. The truth is I continue to allow certain things after 6 months, which I shouldn't have allowed the first month.
Well, you know how you always say, make a list of what you want in a relationship and what you don't want in a relationship. But are we also making a list of what we're going to bring and what we're willing to do?
That's good.
You know, we always say, I need this. Definitely not accepting that. I don't want that. But what am I willing to give? What am I offering?
Yeah.
To you?
Yeah.
I'm telling you what I want and what I don't want, but this is what I'm good at. This is what I can offer you too.
Yeah. That's good.
Right?
That's great. I love it. And that's part of the reason why I believe that sometimes we stay in a place. And I started off talking about me being in a place where my esteem was low because I had not succeeded in business. I had, what I had at that time defined as failures over and over. So I had both the frequent failures as well as a long time before I'd had success. So I had the length of time and
double.
I had frequent failures, right? So I had both combined. I'm saying that some people, because they have frequent failures, they don't believe that there's any success coming. And some people, because it's been so long, they feel like it's never going to come. I had both.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a length of time before I could really pay my bills. I'm like, my gosh. And I should say a length of time. It's 4 years, but 4 years of not being able to pay your bills feels like forever when you're in it.
Sure.
When I look back on it, I'm like, it's only 4 years. But when you're in 4 years, it feels like a long time. It's like being a freshman in school before you know you're a senior.
Yeah.
So it's, sometimes it goes by quickly, sometimes it feels like forever. And then I had the frequent failures. I tried this, tried that, and it just felt like, man, maybe I just need to work a job for the rest of my life. I really thought about that. Maybe entrepreneurism isn't for me.
So what changed you?
So this is how I address the gentleman who's just an amazing man. And he says, I feel like a failure. I feel like I haven't succeeded in so long. How can I tell someone that they should be thinking bigger, dreaming bigger, that you can win when I feel like I haven't won?
First of all, to be that vulnerable.
Yeah. It was in front of everybody.
Is the first step.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people hold it in and they never express it. So you don't even get any feedback or any help or any insights because you just keep it to yourself. Yeah. So to be vulnerable is a great first step, actually. Yep.
So I went through the exercise, which I'll call peeling the onion back, right? It's layers. And sometimes people, what they say on the surface, you have to help them to understand what they're really saying. Because sometimes we say stuff and then we don't realize, oh, is that what I was saying? So that's why sometimes therapists will repeat back to you. So what you're saying is, and then you
say, no, that's not what I was saying.
Right. Because they hear what you just said. You're like, oh, is that what I said?
Yes.
Right. So I repeated back to him. So what you're telling me is that you've been failing for 16 years. What exactly have you been failing in? Like, tell me what you've been like. What are you calling a failure? Is it rank? Like you wanted to hit a certain level of promotion? Is it? And he was like, yeah. I said, is it income? He's like, yeah. Is there anything else? And he paused. And he's like, no, I can't think of anything else. I said, so rank, like you haven't hit the promotion that you wanted. In finances, you haven't made the kind of income. There's nothing else. He's like, I can't think of anything else. I said, okay, let's talk about what you feel you've won with in the past 16 years. Are some of your best friends that you've gained in business with you? He's like, yes, some of the best relationships I've ever gained were right here in this business. Some of them in the room.
Wow.
I said, wow, that's awesome, man. What else? Are you taking any trips? So he's like, oh yeah, I earn the all expense paid trips every year. I said, hold on. Do you know how many people don't ever take vacations? Like there are people get married and don't even go on a honeymoon because they can't afford it. Not only do you take trips annually with passport, so this isn't like up the street, but they're all expenses paid. You're earning that trip,
Yeah.
right? Through some production. That's a win. He's like, yeah.
That's a win.
And we start going through this whole list of things. I said, is this a win? Is this a win? Is this a win? He's like, yes, yes, yes.
So there were 2 losses. And then yeah.
So in his mind, because he'd never listed the wins or said them out loud, his failures were outweighing his wins until someone identified the failures for exactly what they were and the wins for what they were.
Yes.
And I said, when you go home, I want you to keep writing, because we stopped, as you know, you were there. I said, when you go home, I want you to keep writing the wins, all the things you felt like you're better at. Because when you've gone through, like, let me speak to me, for 4 years not being able to pay my bills, man, tenacity, patience, courage,
Yes.
all these things I was gaining and didn't realize it. Vulnerability, because I had to, you can't hide but so many things.
Right.
Your friends, people start seeing it. So at some point, I mean, you could lie, but I didn't. I just like, hey, look, things are tough right now. Tracy and I can't go on vacation. You don't have the money. So vulnerability with friends, honesty, all that. I'm nurturing this and didn't even realize it.
Yes.
But those are all wins. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I learned how to count on people, because great leaders realize their accomplishments come by connecting with other people.
Absolutely.
So all these things, these are all better wins. The loss was, I lost my house, I lost a car, right? I lost some of my esteem. But when I think about all the wins, I mean, you were there, over 4 years, so much more was gained during that 4 years.
So much more was
than lost.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I finished that response, you can see that it had impacted more than just him. Right? You were in the room. Would you say the same thing?
Absolutely. No, people were in tears.
Yeah.
Because it really makes you self-reflect and it really makes you think. Because he was the one that was vulnerable enough to ask the question, but that could have been a question for several people.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why I believe with the self-talk experience, for many of us who have not achieved the goals that we want, sometimes it's the way we feel about ourselves that's holding us back from our next level. And I cannot wait for you, if this is you listening in right now, if you're like, hey, look, I just doubt. And I doubt based on the things that I have looked at that cause me to tell myself I'm a failure. I cannot wait for you to start now thinking about all the things in life that you have wanted. And there's a lot of them when you start thinking about it. You're like, I am a great mom. My kids love me. This did. And you all of a sudden, you start thinking about all the things you are wonderful at. And people tell you you're wonderful at it.
Yes.
And you know that you're better at it. And you know, man, I'm responsive. I'm this. I give. And people are like, man, you're such an awesome giver. People tell you that's a win.
That's
You know what I mean? People are selfish, and so many people only look at themselves, or they have a hidden agenda. You're like, I never have a hidden agenda. I always have a team agenda. I always want to see other people win. I'm never jealous of my friends when they win. I celebrate. Those are all wins.
Yeah.
So when you get to a point where you can start celebrating all the wins you have in life, you start feeling like a winner. And when you start feeling like a winner, you start attracting winning things. It's a winning season for you, because now you're like, you know what? I'm a winner. But the moment you shift that and you say, I can't believe I failed at this, I'm miserable at this, I suck at this, then you start feeling like I'm a loser. Right. I'm a failure. And when you have thoughts and stories that you continue to replay in your mind that make you feel like you're failing, at some point you define yourself as a failure. And no one wants to continue to play a game when they feel like, why? Because I never win. So they walk off the field, become a spectator in the very game they could be winning at.
Wow. And have a lot of talent.
They could have made it big, but they stepped off the field because they only looked at the things that they define as a failure. And it wasn't even true failure. Yeah. It was not a destination. You know what I mean? It was just a pit stop. It was just a yield sign. And so many of us are at that place. It is a yield. It's not a stop sign.
Right.
Right? You're just at a place right now for you to pause long enough to realize that, you know what? I'm really good at this. And because I paused, I saw an open door. that I would have never seen if I didn't pause. If I was going so fast, I wouldn't have paid attention to this opportunity. So sometimes the pause is a win for us and we don't even realize it. We're looking at it as a step backwards, but it's actually not. It's 10 steps forward because it puts you in a place where you now realize things that you would not have realized if you were moving too fast, doing something you weren't even happy you're doing anyway.
Right.
So I'm just saying, the things the things you have defined and identified in your life as failures, you may have not reached a level of success in those areas. So I don't want to pretend like, oh no, they're a win. Some of those are not wins.
But you don't focus on that.
That's the difference. That's the difference. The procrastination did cause that. You not being organized did cause that.
Yeah.
You know, you pretending like it didn't exist did cause that. That's what you're talking about, taking responsibility. But focusing on that, replaying that is not causing us to win. So all I'm asking that you do, yes, that happened. Let's take responsibility.
But you have to move on and you have to do it quickly.
Exactly.
And that's
right.
the thing.
Yep.
You have to move on, but it has to be fast.
And what you're replaying is what you see.
Yeah.
And if you're replaying 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what was said to you, what was done to you, the things that didn't happen for you, you'll continue to see that. And it is blocking the vision that God is trying to give you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that maybe replay some good things. You're like, oh man, I see it, I feel it. And that's how I feel like daily. I'm like,
but
about to be on.
Sometimes people just need permission.
Yep.
They just need
Hopefully
permission to do it. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, hopefully we're doing that for folks.
Giving you total permission to go all out and let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, this has been another episode of the Self-Talk Experience. Remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually will determine who and what we attract for ourselves.
I was going to say it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You say it.
No, it's okay. I'll say it next time. Bye.
All right, guys. See you.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.